everything we've built. Everything you see is all for your convenience. All for your leisure. All for your delight. All for your lifestyle. All for your success. More than that, we're all with you in supporting your community. All these things we do are all for you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2014 SM Investments Corporation Annual Stockholders Meeting. With a short video clip on the SMIC Smiles campaign and a copy of the SMIC annual report, we hope that you have a better picture about our past year's performance and plans as we forge ahead. The report further illustrates the growth of the company over the past year and how the effective management of the various business units have culminated, bringing SM to a position of strength. Please allow me now to introduce to you the Board of Directors, the very men and women who have led SMIC's incredible performance and commitment to long-term development. Let me start with our beloved founder and chairman, the visionary who started it all, Mr. Henry C. Sr. Our two vice chairpersons, Ms. Teresita T.C. Cosan and Mr. Henry T.C. Jr. Director and President, Mr. Harley T.C. Director, Executive Vice President, and Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Jose P. Seo. Independent Director, Mr. Adu Lim. Independent Director, Mr. Joseph R. Higdon. And we also have with us at the presidential table our Corporate Secretary, Attorney Emmanuel C. Paras, and Assistant Corporate Secretary, Attorney Corazon Morando. And we have Mr. Franklin Gomez, Senior Vice President for Finance. We also have in the audience the better half of our chairman, Mrs. Felicidad T.C. And advisors to the board are Ms. Elizabeth T.C., President of SM Hotels and Conventions, Mr. Hans T.C., President of SM Prime Holdings, Inc., Mr. Herbert T.C., President of SM Food Retail, and Mr. Stephen Cunying. May I now give the floor to our Vice Chairperson, Ms. Teresita T.C. Cosan.
I'm pleased to inform you that your company has good performance this year. The net income grew by 11.2 to 27 billion, and the revenue grew by about 13% across all core businesses, the retail, the property, and the banking. Under the increasing competitive environment, your retail group will still continue to grow aggressively. And a major highlight this year was in the last year was in the property group, which was the completions of the consolidations of shopping malls, residential, commercial, hotels, and conventions. Going forward, the property group can now consolidate its management and financing requirements and will be able to undertake large-scale integrated property development. The bank also had a good year, partly because of the significant trading gains. And for now, I will give the floor to Mr. Joe Show to chair the meeting.
The meeting will now come to order. On behalf of the Board of Directors and Management of SM Investments, I welcome all of you and thank you for your presence at this annual stockholder meeting this afternoon. The first order of the business is for the Secretary to please certify to the sending of the notice and the existence of a quorum.
Mr. Chairman, I certify that written notices of this afternoon's annual stockholders meeting have been sent to all the stockholders of record as provided in the bylaws, to the Philippine Stock Exchange and to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Mr. Chairman, I have examined all proxies on file and the list of stockholders personally present. On the basis of my examination, I certify that of the total number of outstanding shares of 796,272,266 shares, the holders of 689,394,004 shares are present in person or by proxy. And this represents 86.58% of the total outstanding shares. Mr. Chairman, I therefore certify that the quorum is present for the transaction of business by the stockholders.
Thank you. Are there any comments on the certification by the Secretary? There being no question, I as a chairman declare the existence of a quorum. The next order of the business is the approval of the minutes of the last annual stockholder meeting held on April 25, 2013. Mr. Secretary, have the stockholder been furnished with copies of the minutes of the meeting?
Mr. Chairman, copies of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting last year, April 25, 2013, have either been distributed or made available to the stockholders at the start of the meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on April 25, 2013 be dispensed with.
I second the motion.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection, the motion is carried. Are there any questions on the minutes? There being no objection, the motion is carried and the minutes of the annual stockholder meeting of the stockholder held on April 25, 2013 are approved. The next order of the business is the presentation of the President's report. May I request Mr. Frank Gomez, our Senior Vice President Finance, to present the President's report of 2013.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to share with you the highlights of your company's performance as stated in the President's report. The Philippines remained one of the fastest growing economies in Southeast Asia in 2013, delivering 7.2% GDP growth despite experiencing a series of national disasters, including Typhoon Yolanda. A rapidly emerging middle class and record high remittances from Filipino overseas drove up consumer spending, which made up 75% of the Philippines' GDP. The economy also got a boost from business process outsourcing industry, as the Philippines continued to be one of the world's most favored BPO destinations. These factors largely fueled the growth in retail, banking, and property development, the three core businesses of SM. This enabled us to produce stronger full-year earnings for 2013. Our net income grew 11.2% to 27.4 billion pesos from 24.7 billion last year. Revenue increased 13.1% to 253 billion, and our EBITDA rose by 10.7% to 60.8 billion, with an EBITDA margin of 24%. Our annual earnings per share stood at 34.85 cents, up 9.7% year-on-year. Looking at SM's consolidated net income, banks comprise the largest share, with a contribution of 43.1%, boosted by extraordinary gains from trading. The consolidated property group, which comprises our malls, residential, commercial, hotels and conventions, and leisure activities, were consolidated under the SM Prime during 2013 and accounted for 35.5%, while retail made up the rest of the 21.4%. Sustaining its solid performance, BDO Unibank posted a net income of 22.6 billion, up 56.1%. And China Bank saw its net interest income increase 23% to 9.9 billion pesos. Both of our banks reported strong earnings growth, fueled by underlying lending and fee-based activities, but supplemented by significant one-off gains from trading activities. Both banks also saw significant deposit growth, driven primarily by the unwinding of the SDA accounts, and China Bank also acquired Planters Bank during the year, adding assets of 54 billion and making it the 5th largest bank in the country. Loans and deposits fueled the 19.5% hike in net interest income to 43.2 billion. Further, non-interest income increased by 30.4% to 31.8 billion due to a higher fee-based income and trading and foreign exchange gains. Gross customer loans increased by 18% to 914 billion on broad-based expansion across key markets. Total deposits rose by 44.4% to 1.3 trillion pesos as low-cost deposits, as well as the inflow of maturing special deposit accounts from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, grew steadily. The bank continued to provision conservatively, with NPL cover reaching 171%, and also to maintain a strong balance sheet. As at year-end, BDO's capital adequacy was 15.8%, with Tier 1 capital at 14.6%. For its part, China Banking Corporation recorded a consolidated net income of 5.1 billion in 2013, which represents a return on equity of 11.3%. As already mentioned, the acquisition of Planters Bank has made it now the 5th largest bank in the Philippines. Our property development arm, SM Prime Holdings, reported combined net earnings of 16.3 billion in 2013. SM Prime completed the merger of the property assets of the SM Group, including exchange offers for SMDC and Highlands Prime, and an asset swap of hotel, leisure, and other land assets of SMDC. In its first fully consolidated reporting, 2013 revenues grew 4.5% to just under 60 billion pesos, and combined net income was flat. However, net of one-time restructuring charges of 1.3 billion pesos, and underlying earnings grew by 8.3% without the one-time costs. Looking at underlying performance, malls continued to comprise 58% of revenues and 75% of the earnings of the new property conglomerate. Residential business account for 23% and 20% of the same, with balance delivered by commercial and hotels businesses. SM Prime's portfolio provides a strong contribution of recurring and development income sources and a mix of businesses that will allow it to expand as a developer of integrated and large-scale master-planned lifestyle cities. A one-time integration cost of 1.3 billion tempered the 8.3% growth in its recurring net income of 17.5 billion pesos after the consolidation of SM's property assets into SM Prime. Consolidated revenues rose 4.5% to 59.8 billion from 57 billion a year ago, and rental revenues accounting for 54% of the total and grew by 11.1% to 32.2 billion from 29 billion in 2012. Mall performance continued to be strong, with both revenues up 12% and net income at 11.6 billion. The increase was primarily due to the full year effect of the new malls opened in 2012, namely SM City Olongapo, SM City Consolacion, SM City San Fernando, SM City General Santos, SM Lanang Premier, and the opening in 2013 of SM Aura Premier. Excluding the new malls and expansions, rental revenues grew 7%. SM Prime's 5 shopping malls in China also sustained their profit growth, with net income amounting to 958 million pesos. China comprises 9% of mall revenues and 8% of net income. SM Prime ended the year with 48 malls in the Philippines, with a total gross floor area of 6.2 million square meters. In 2013, SM Prime unveiled SM Aura Premier, our upscale community center in Taguig City, and SMBF Parañaque. No new malls were opened in China in 2013, although our China malls have combined gross floor area of 800,000 square meters. SM City Zibo and SM City Tianjin will open in 2014 and 2015 respectively. Spanning 540,000 square meters, SM City Tianjin will be the largest mall in SM's entire China portfolio. By the end of 2015, SM Prime will have approximately 1.5 million square meters of GFA. Moving on to residential, SM Prime also generated real estate condominium sales of 20 billion pesos in 2013. The 3 projects it launched in 2013, namely Grass Phase 2 Residences, Shore Residences, and Trees Residences, are expected to contribute significantly to the revenues starting in 2014. Gross margins improved to 42.6% compared to 38% in 2012. Consolidated operating expenses increased by 12% to 23.7 billion in 2013, while consolidated cost of real estate was at 11.9 billion, a 14.7% decrease from 14 billion in 2012. Going to retail, sales grew by 14% to 181 billion pesos, and its net margin stood at a healthy 3.2%. As of the end of 2013, SM Retail had a total of 241 stores, having opened 23 during the course of the year. Metro Manila accounts for 41% of stores. Our small supermarket format, which is Save More, accounts for the largest number of outlets at 93, and was also responsible for the largest number of new stores at 15. And in 2013, the group acquired an interest in Walter Mart, a chain of community malls and supermarkets, adding 22 stores to our portfolio. The company rebranded its SM department stores into the SM Store. This signified its business commitment of being the fashion store for all, amidst the rapidly changing fashion trends, highly competitive local and global labels, and increased purchasing power. SM Retail will roll out new store designs and layouts to accommodate more brands and deliver an enhanced shopping experience. The company also embarked on imaging campaigns aimed at boosting brand equity with a rising generation of higher spending, fashion-conscious Filipinos. With the expansion of its store network, the Food Retail Group continued to refurbish and renovate its stores, introducing layouts designed for customers to find products even more easily. The Food Retail Group also continued to widen the range of consumer choices by constantly updating its product assortment for the convenience of shoppers, and a closer collaboration with sister company China Bank allowed it to increase its presence in Save More stores. On to the balance sheet. SM's total assets increased 12.7% year-on-year to 633 billion. We continue to maintain a very healthy balance sheet with a gearing ratio of 37% net debt to 63% equity. In 2013, we also undertook initiatives to help broaden our investor base and our portfolio investments. In July 2013, SM, through appointed depositary, the Bank of New York Mellon, launched the American Depositary Receipt Level 1 program. Under the program, ADR securities issued in the U.S. representing SM common shares can be traded over the counter with one SM ADR representing half a common share of SM. This facility allows U.S. investors to trade SM common shares in their own time zone and to settle transactions locally, broadening SM's shareholder base and enhancing SM's international visibility. In December 2013, we acquired 90% of 5 prime Grade A office buildings and land from CPI BV, which is a gross leasable area of 147,000 square meters located within the PEZA certified IT park in Bonifacio Global City. Clients and tenants of the Net Group, the largest office developer in the Global City, range from large multinational firms to worldwide support services across various industries and sectors. SM also recently announced the acquisition of 34% equity of City Mall Commercial Center. The remaining 66% is held by Double Dragon Properties Corp., a 50-50 joint venture between the founders of Mang Inasal and Jollibee Groups. City Mall plans to construct 100 community malls initially in the Visayas and Mindanao regions. In the years ahead, SM will constantly evolve to take advantage of the enormous opportunities that come with doing business in fast emerging economy. We will remain focused on our core businesses of retail, property, and banking with portfolio investments in high-growth sectors. We are confident that we can meet greater competition, particularly as the ASEAN market moves towards greater economic integration by 2015. Yet to maintain our industry leadership, we must continue to innovate and embrace dynamism, which have become the hallmark of our business since 1958. We must always be a step ahead in the meeting the ever-evolving needs of our markets. It is in this spirit that we express our deep pride in the SM team for bringing us to where we are and our gratitude to you, our shareholders and partners, for your unwavering support, and we hope that you share our excitement about our company's performance and the way in which we are building a brighter and a more dynamic future for the Filipinos. Thank you very much.
If there are no questions, the Chair will entertain a motion to approve the President's report.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the President's report be approved.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection, the motion is carried. The next order of the business is the ratification of the acts of the Board of Directors and the management from April 25, 2013 up to the date of this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move for the ratification of the acts of the Board of Directors and the management as contained in the corporate report from April 25, 2013 up to the date of this meeting.
Is there any objection to the motion? There
Mr.
being
Chairman, just a very brief inquiry. Is there any significant amendment to our articles and very significant investments that would be needing some attention by the stockholders?
In the next subject, there will be subject to the approval of this body, a change in the article of incorporation as required by the Securities and Exchange Commission. The other investment, that significant investment that you are referring to, is already contained in the President's report. Is there other objection to the motion?
I second the motion.
There being no objection, the motion is carried. Ladies and gentlemen, We had a regular board meeting earlier this afternoon, and I am pleased to announce that your board of directors approved the declaration of a cash dividend equivalent to 8.2 billion based on a 30% payout on the 2013 consolidated net income of SMIC. This is equivalent to 10.34 per share in favor of all the stockholders as of the record of May 30, 2014, and payable on or before June 26, 2014. The next item in the agenda is the amendment of the article of incorporation of the corporation to state the specific address of the corporation's principal office as per SEC MC number 6 series of 2014. The specific address of the corporation is at 10th floor, 1 Ecom Center, Harbor Drive, Mall of Asia Complex, Pasay City. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the amendment of the Articles of Incorporation to state the principal office address of the corporation at 10th floor, 1 Ecom Center, Harbor Drive, Mall of Asia Complex, Pasay City be approved.
I second the motion.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection, the motion is carried. The next item in the agenda is the election of the directors. The nomination committee nominated the existing directors for the election of the board of directors at today's annual stockholder meeting. The list of the said nominees were disclosed in the company's definitive information statement sent to all stockholders of record on April 5, 2014. The floor is now open for nomination.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate the following individuals as directors of the corporation for the year 2014 to 2015. Mr. Henry C. Sr., Ms. Teresita T. C., Mr. Henry T. C. Jr., Mr. Harley T. C., Mr. Jose T. Shaw, Mr. Vicente S. Perez Jr. as Independent Director, Mr. Adu Lim as Independent Director, and Mr. Joseph H. Higdon as Independent Director.
Mr. Chairman, I second the nomination.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the nominations be closed.
Is there any objection to the motion?
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
There being no objection, the nominations are closed, and the secretary is directed to cast a ballot as a unanimous vote for the meeting for the election of those nominated. The next item in the agenda is the appointment of external auditors.
Mr. Chairman, I move for the appointment of CCIP Gores Velayo and Company as external auditors for the company.
I second the motion.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being no objection, the motion is carried. There being no other item in the agenda, the chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the annual stockholders meeting be adjourned.
I second the motion.
Any objection to the motion? There being none, the meeting is adjourned. Please enjoy your merienda. Good afternoon.
This brings the SM Investments Corporation Annual Shareholders Meeting to an end. Again, thank you for your support, presence, and for continuing to allow us the privilege to serve you. Thank you.